I had my first IVF baby a little less than a year ago and I'm already ready for baby number 2. Let's talk about it. I have some good news and some bad news about transfer number 2. I'm gonna talk about all of it. There are timestamps in the description. I'm gonna give a summary of my IVF journey because I know a lot of you guys joined during pregnancy or even post-birth. Or if you're a longtime watcher, this will be a big refresher on my history and what's next. I wanted to make this video because I'm gonna be making some lifestyle changes that you guys are gonna see in upcoming vlogs, and I just wanna put it all out there so that there's no confusion, and that way my embryo transfer vlog will just be that, and we have all of this backup in this video. So let's take a rewind. In October 2024, we did our first and only egg retrieval after 2 failed IUIs and after about a year and a half of trying to conceive naturally. I've never had a positive pregnancy test, and after the initial testing, the doctor recommended IVF. Of course they did. I'll get into that later. The reason for our infertility is me. It has nothing to do with AJ. They found a 4-centimeter chocolate cyst, which is an endometrioma cyst, which indicates endometriosis. So that's like the main thing that I have. I also have a few other things that are definitely playing a role in not being able to conceive. I have the MTHFR gene mutation. This is something that the infertility specialist tested for. I also have elevated natural killer cells. Now, I personally think this is linked to endometriosis. I never got around to asking my doctor that question, which we'll talk about that as well. I just don't think they care enough. The goal of these doctors is not to explain your infertility, it's just to get you pregnant. So we'll talk about that in a second. But so my killer cells are high. So for the first transfer, I had to do an intralipid infusion, pre-transfer, and also once a month until I hit 20 weeks gestation. Thank God my first transfer was successful. I had a very normal pregnancy and I delivered my son via C-section due to a failed induction. I was induced for a possible heart abnormality that they found on a scan during my pregnancy. He ended up being completely fine. It was just like a margin of error and he was fine. But that's the reason I was induced. Looking back, I wish I would not have been induced in hopes of having a vaginal delivery. Nevertheless, we came home. My son is healthy. He's almost 1 year old. He's the light of our life and we just want more children to add to the mix, and we're so excited to start the journey for transfer number 2. If you know anything about IVF, you don't just snap your fingers and get a transfer. You have to do a smorgasbord of testing and consults and financial meetings. It's a lot, so that's why we're starting early. You want to plan at least 3 months ahead of your next scheduled transfer, or if you're planning to start IVF from the beginning, you have to plan at least 6 months ahead. Don't wait till the last second because you're just going to be feeling like you're in a rush. I have videos on IVF stims, egg retrieval, and also transfer, finding out I'm pregnant. I have all of those videos if you want to check them out and catch up on the journey. In terms of IVF journeys, mine is a pretty simple one and I'm so thankful to God for that. We've only had 1 egg retrieval. If everything goes well and we don't have transfers failing, that should be enough to complete our family, and I'm so grateful for that. So what are the steps of planning your next transfer? Whether your previous transfers have failed or if you've had a child and you're ready for baby number 2, baby number 3, whatever the case. Like I said, plan 3 months in advance because number 1, you may have a delay in getting a consult with your doctor. Before you even start anything with your next transfer, you have to talk to your doctor. At least that's the rule in my clinic. I go to IVF MD in South Florida. I'm seeing Dr. Bauer. I was previously seeing Dr. Rosef. He is a very highly rated doctor. His success rates are insane, and he retired, so he transferred us over to his successor, which is Dr. Bauer. I also highly recommend Dr. Gerkowitz in the Cooper City location if you're in South Florida. We met with the doctor and she told us the game plan. I asked her, how soon can we possibly have a transfer if everything goes perfectly? And she said, if everything goes perfectly, we can have a transfer early December. Mind you, this consultation was the last week of September. So even that, if everything goes perfectly, you're looking at 3 months. So keep that in mind. We had the consult. She sent me out for initial testing. I was able to do everything in 1 single appointment, which was great. The second time around, now that I have a child, it's something to consider where you need to have childcare if you're going to these appointments. There are so many appointments involved with IVF. You need to think about childcare and get that scheduled ahead of time because you cannot bring your toddler to the clinic for multiple reasons. I don't want to because I feel like it's insensitive to others. I remember sometimes I would see other babies come to the office and I was like, it just hurts your heart if you're going through infertility. So for that reason, I wouldn't. But also, you can't be wrangling a toddler or a crawling baby while you're getting your blood work, while you're getting your biopsies and all this stuff. It's just not realistic, and they will not watch your baby. Like, people just don't bring their kids. So think about childcare. I got some bad news with my initial testing results, which we will get into, trust me. but I do want to quickly shout out today's sponsor. I think they're so relevant to this conversation. Function is a health platform that allows you to see the kind of data that most people never get to see about themselves and the insights to actually take action. So what is this? With Function, you can get hundreds of different tests done. You can even get MRIs or CT scans, and you'll see all of your results in one place. Why is this helpful? Why don't you just go to a doctor and ask for these tests? Number one, as we know, a lot of times when you go to a doctor's office, you have to see them multiple times, and you have to kind of sometimes beg them to order the tests that you want to order if they don't believe you, or if you're having symptoms that you think align with something but your doctor just refuses to order it, or if there's a long wait time to see your doctor. All these things are extremely frustrating in general health, but also when it comes to fertility. If you've been trying to conceive or you just want to figure out what's going on with your female self, you can do the female hormone test along with all the other tests that are included in your membership, and you can bring that data to your doctor and say, hey, I just had all of these tests done, so there's no need to run them again. Let's proceed to round 2 of testing. When time is of the essence, and it is with female fertility, I'm all about efficiency. So when you're going to your primary care doctor and you're getting a referral for your specialist, or going to that IVF clinic and you say, hey, I just had these done, I don't need them again. Number one is going to save you money because having these tests done repeatedly can add up. And number two, if you don't have insurance or you have a high deductible plan, the option with Function is so worth it. So every year you get access to tons and tons of tests, and you also get certain repeat tests. Everything is included in your membership. If you guys know Andrew Huberman, he is also a member of Function and he recommends it, and I trust everything that that guy says. And you can actually get $100 off your membership with my code RachelVin100. It'll be linked in the description. If you're someone like me who likes to take charge of your health, of your fertility, and know what's going on, I highly recommend. So it'll be linked down below, RachelVin100. Okay, so what is the bad news? First of all, let's go over all the testing that I had done because it was a lot. And I'll go over the cost of that in the next section as well. I had 1 million blood works done. I thought I was gonna pass out. Actually, it was fine. But it was like 12 to 15 vials of blood. It was a lot of blood, you guys. So just keep that in mind. It was fasting and the first appointment wasn't until 12. So it was a rough morning. So many different things. I'll insert a screenshot of every single thing that I had to get done. Some interesting ones include urea plasma, the natural killer cells. We had that retested because my doctor said even though I had it the first time, I might not have it the second time. We also did an endometrial biopsy. So that's when they take a biopsy of the inside of your uterine lining to see if there's any inflammation. The reason that they do this is if you've had a history of pelvic surgery or C-section, or even sometimes endometriosis can cause it. I did not have to get the biopsy for my first transfer, but because I had a C-section, she wanted to order it, and it came back positive for endometritis, which is inflammation of the uterine lining, can be caused by all of those things I mentioned, but most importantly, a C-section. So of course I have it, of course it's positive. This is gonna set us back a few months. I have a friend who had to do 3 biopsies in 3 consecutive months, pushing her back by 3 months. So what is the solution for endometritis? Very strong antibiotics. We have Cipro 500 milligrams and Flagyl 500 milligrams, 1 tablet twice a day for 14 days. Avoid all alcohol and let me know if you have muscle pain while taking these medications. Message me cycle day 1 of your menstrual cycle so I can give you instructions for scheduling the repeat biopsy to make sure the infection is gone. I'm currently taking those medications. I'm almost halfway done. I feel completely fine. I am a little bit fatigued, but who's not fatigued when you're chasing around a baby? I'm a little bit bummed that this is going to cause a delay, but on the bright side, it is something that is treatable and it will most likely go away within 1 cycle, and we can probably proceed after that. This I thought was important to share because I know a lot of you guys are C-section moms, and if for some reason, if you happen to be struggling to conceive post a C-section, it is worth considering getting an endometrial biopsy, because if you do have inflammation in the uterine lining, how can we expect an embryo to implant properly? So it's definitely something to consider if you're TTC after a C-section, and if it hasn't been working, it's worth getting it done. I don't have any symptoms of the inflammation, and honestly, I would have no idea that I even have it. I also want to say that I've been TTC for 2 months now, and of course, I haven't gotten pregnant. Otherwise, yay, I would have told you. We are open to conceiving naturally. I just don't think it's going to happen because of all the stuff going on with me. I just think my body is very hostile to embryos and we need to take lots of action to prevent that. Hence the intralipid infusion, which is basically a fat emulsion that gets injected into your veins. And the fat cells, from my understanding, I'm not a doctor, but the fat cells kind of absorb the excess killer cells and allow my body to kind of calm down and allow the embryo to implant and successfully grow. The next thing that we need to address before transferring embryo number 2 is my cholesterol. My cholesterol level is 231 and they want it below 200. My LDL, which is the bad lipids, is 147 and it should be below 100. Dr. Bauer would like for you to avoid all red meat, egg yolk, shrimp, fried fatty foods, and full fat dairy products. I intentionally eat a high fat, high protein diet and lower carb. So this is gonna be killer. And the thing with IVF is you have to play by the rules. So there's so many studies coming out and that have been out that ketogenic diets are healthy and that for certain people, low carb, higher fat, high protein diets are actually really beneficial. So I'm of that camp, but you have to play by the rules. I remember with transfer number 1, they almost canceled it because my vitamin D was higher than they wanted.
I've never been to prison.
You have
19 felonies, no convictions.
Yeah,
Knock it off. Prison and jail aren't the same. No.
Calm
No.
down. Calm down.
Only one of us has $12 worth of jewelry on.
It was like 105 and they wanted it below 100. I was taking vitamin D and they told me, stop taking that. Why are you taking that? So you have to just like grit your teeth and just like do what they say because it's not worth having a transfer delayed over cholesterol. Mind you, I'm a healthy weight, I'm a healthy individual otherwise. Nevertheless, we're going to be on a health journey, which you guys will see in upcoming videos. It's gonna be hard because I love cheese and whole milk and I'm a big like full fat dairy person. I love butter, I love all that stuff. I love red meat. This is gonna be hard. So subscribe if you wanna see that journey, but I know that it's only for a short time because once I'm, God willing, pregnant, I can go back to what I think is the best diet for me. Of course, everything in moderation. I'm not saying that I know better than the doctors. I'm just saying I think this is a little bit ridiculous, but I'm going to follow the rules. They also want me to take the Pro Omega from Nordic Naturals, so I ordered that on Amazon. I've been taking 3 capsules a day. I've also been taking Metanex. This is a prescription that they gave me from my first transfer, and they told me to take it throughout my childbearing years. Basically, this is a high dose of methylated folate. Since I have the MTHFR gene mutation, my body cannot fully process folate, which as we know is a key ingredient necessary for healthy babies. So I take that daily. I'm also taking the Ritual prenatal and my antibiotics. I think I still have a Ritual code, so I'll put it on the screen and link my Ritual link down below. It's my favorite prenatal, and surprisingly so, my doctor recommended the Ritual prenatal, Dr. Rosef, and he's like one of the best IVF doctors in the country, definitely in Florida. And he was like, I need you to take Ritual. I was like, did you know that they like to work with influencers? Like, why are you saying that? So I thought it was hilarious that he actually from his own mouth said that I should take Ritual. Okay, so we have the 2 main things that I need to change to get pregnant with transfer number 2. So the good news in all of this is that all of this is solvable. I asked my nurse, do you want to retest my cholesterol with my next biopsy? And she said, we wouldn't retest the cholesterol for like 2 to 3 months. And I was like, hold up, roll it back. Are you saying that my transfer could potentially be delayed 3 months for cholesterol reasons? And she said, no, I'm not saying that. And I said, good, you better not. She said, no, we just want you to make these changes so that you are healthier. And I was like, okay, I could do that. I can do that. See, we can work together. I will comply. Do I think that they would delay a transfer for slightly high cholesterol? No, but I wouldn't put it past them, and it's not a risk I'm willing to take. Therefore, we're gonna be eating super clean, super healthy, and low fat, I guess, which is tragic. Let's talk about the cost of all of this testing that I've just had. Thank God we were able to use insurance. We had amazing IVF coverage through AJ's previous job. That paid for the egg retrieval and the first transfer. We did have to meet our deductible, which was I think $4,500. So once we hit that, they paid for everything. So that was great. We knew that he did not want to stay at this job long term. So now we are basically self-pay because my clinic does not take my insurance. I have Oscar now. We found it on the marketplace and they don't take it. Even if they did take it, it doesn't cover IVF. So it's really a null issue. The only thing is with some of these routine blood works, like the lipid panel, for example, that would have been a reduced cost through my insurance. So at the end of the day, we would have saved a couple $100s if they even took my insurance, but we would never have had the previous insurance that we had. So either way, we knew this would be a big cost coming up. We've been saving up for it and we're aware of it. So now it's hitting us. So the initial testing with all of the blood work, we also did a culture of the cervix just to check for other infections that came back negative, and the biopsy. Everything from that appointment was $3,500. $3,500. So again, something to keep in mind if you're planning for your next transfer is that you're gonna have to repeat a lot of the testing. Just thank God I didn't have to do an HSG. I don't see why they would do that, but that was like the most painful. The biopsy was not painful for me. I did take 800 milligrams of Advil 1 hour prior. It was not bad at all. Like I didn't feel almost anything, but I have a friend who said it was super painful for her. So I would take that Advil just in case. I don't have a cost estimate yet for the transfer. Basically, it's going to be a self-pay situation. I've had estimates from friends saying it's anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 with meds, I believe. So I will let you guys know probably in my transfer vlog how much everything is. Let's talk about endometriosis and some reflections that I've had. I've also been on endometriosis TikTok recently, and it's just kind of sad how most doctors, I'm not speaking for all, I'll speak for my doctors. They don't really want to sit there and explain to you why you're not getting pregnant. They are goal-oriented people and they just say, hey, if you want to get pregnant, this is how, and let's not waste time talking about stuff that doesn't matter. But it does matter. If you are someone with endometriosis or struggling to conceive, it does matter. And I think they could use a little bit more empathy to just take an extra 10 minutes to talk to us. What is endometriosis? Why do you think I have it? Do you think that's the cause of my infertility? These are conclusions that I basically had to draw myself. They didn't even tell me I had an endometrioma cyst. I discovered that. So I was getting an ultrasound during stims. Mind you, I've already consented to IVF. And the nurse goes, oh, you have like a 4-centimeter cyst. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Nobody told me that. She was like, yeah, I'm gonna make a note to your doctor and, make sure he knows about this. And I'm like, okay. Talk to my doctor. He's like, yeah, you have a cyst. Like you have most likely endometriosis. And I was like, okay, thank you for telling me that. That would have been nice to know. So just like, it's frustrating that the clinics don't care so much about explaining things to you. If you want to go down the path of holistic and recovery and natural-based solutions, I would recommend seeing a functional doctor, someone who specializes in infertility, but not in an IVF setting, because the IVF doctors are IVF specialists. They're not specialists in how to get you pregnant naturally. That's not their role. Their role is how to get you pregnant as soon as possible, which is usually via IVF. So understanding what doctor you're going to, super important, because you don't want to be going to an IVF doctor and expecting that emotional empathy, because you're not going to get it. It's also upsetting how little research there is on endometriosis. I've heard it said that 1 in 8 women have endometriosis of varying degrees, and endometriosis is a huge, one of the most common causes of female factor infertility, and it's just really sad that there's not research on it. If this was a male issue, I feel like there would be a million times more research papers on it. So it's upsetting, and if you've been a long time watcher, I would cry on here about how painful my periods are, and I was terrified for my first period post-birth, and luckily it wasn't that bad. I did immediately go back on the pill post my C-section 6 weeks after I was on the pill, because you guys, I was terrified of getting my period. It's so bad. And if you know about endometriosis, being on the birth control pill suppresses the disease. It stops the disease from progressing. So endometriosis is an overgrowth of cells in your pelvic area, and they grow in places it shouldn't be. And when you get your cycle, they get inflamed and cause tremendous pain, scar tissue. One of them is blocking my left ovary. They cause infertility. It's a terrible disease. What was I gonna say? When you go on the birth control pill, you basically stop your ovulatory cycle and you stop the inflammation, so everything kind of gets suppressed and it's in a dormant state until you get off the pill. So I've been off the pill for 2 months. My periods have been okay, but I'm still terrified. If you guys have any experience with it or any tips or any doctors that you recommend, I would love to see them in the comments so that we can all benefit from this community that we have. I love you guys so much. I feel like whether you joined during IVF or pregnancy or birth, we are all in the same boat of wanting healthy, happy children, healthy, happy lives. And if we can support each other and give each other resources, that would be amazing. I love chatting with you guys in my DMs. If you have a specific question, you can DM me and I will answer, because I love talking about IVF protocols, things like that. Unfortunately, I won't be able to respond to general questions. Like, I get a lot of questions saying, I'm going through IVF, do you have any advice? So that's a very vague question and I don't have the time to answer that for everyone. But luckily you can watch my stims, egg retrieval, transfer vlogs. I give all of the tea in those vlogs. Or if you have a specific question, like a technical question or a medication question, I will answer, because that's more of a straightforward thing. And I don't have to type out 3 paragraphs. This will be the last IVF update until, God willing, I tell you that I'm pregnant. I just wanted to get this all out there. That way my embryo transfer vlog can just be straight to the point and focused on the protocol for that and not all the stuff that was leading up to it. In that vlog, of course, I'll update you on my second biopsy results and we'll go from there. If you're going through IVF or infertility, you are not alone. I'm right there with you. I tell this to everyone, just keep going. Keep going. It's so worth it when you meet your children. It is so worth it, and you're gonna forget all of the hard stuff that led up to it. So just push through. So many of us are with you. We've been there and we're still there. We're still going through it. So if you have any specific questions, I can also answer them in the comments. I love you guys so much. Smash that like button, subscribe if you want to see the upcoming journey. Check out Function Health. It'll be linked in the description if you want to take control of your health today. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.